Today we're talking about simplifying expressions by combining like terms with the distributive property. So, what are like terms? Like terms need to have the same variable and exponent, but not necessarily the same coefficient. So, if we look at this one, the like terms would be the 7x squared and the x squared, because they have the same variable and exponent. So, which of the following are like terms? If we look at the first row, the 3y goes along with the 2y. The 5 goes along with the 6, and this poor y cubed stays alone. If we look here, the 2w squared goes with the 3w squared and just with the w squared. He's just 1w. These two guys stand alone. So, these would be like terms of one another. In this one, the negative 4yt goes along with the 3yt and just the poor old 1yt. But if we look at this negative 4, he does not go with any of them, and this negative 4t does not go with any of them. F squared is just 1, and he goes with the 3f squared and the negative f squared. These two are all by themselves. And finally, if we look here, the 19n goes with the negative 5n and the 2n, but these two do not go with anybody. So how does this help us? Well, if we want to combine them in, say, a expression, we can now. We know that the 2x goes with the 6x. They're both positives, so I have 8x plus 2. If I look here, I have y plus 5y, which is 6y. I can't do anything here, so this one is already simplified. Same with number 4. I can't combine any of those like terms. But here I have 4x squared, and I'm taking away 1x squared. So I have 3x squared. Over here I have 3t minus 2t, which I'm just left with 1t plus 9t, which gives me 10t. Okay, so make sure you circle your answers because those are your final ones. You try these ones for me, and I'll be back in just a second to show you what I did. Okay, grab your red pen. In this first one, I'm just left with negative xy because these two cancel out because they have different signs. In this next one, I have two positive y's. 12 plus 3 is 15y. And 6x plus 1x is 7x. Down here, I'm going to take 3 away from the 17 because these are the only two that can be combined, and I get 14x cubed and just add on the 4. Okay? If I look at this one, 2w minus 2w is just 0 because they cancel each other out. On this one, the 9y goes with the negative 11y, and the negative 4 goes with the positive 7. So take the 9 away from the 11, and I'm left with negative 2y, and then take away the 4 from the 7, and I have plus 3. So I'm adding that 3 on. Over here I have a positive 3x and a negative 3x, so those cancel each other out. So I'm just left with positive 2 minus 10, which is a negative 8. All right, so let's simplify using the distributive property. The distributive property helps us because we cannot add this p plus 2 like order of operations tells us to do. But we still need to multiply this 3 by this whole thing. So we distribute the 3 to the p and to the 2. So 3 times p is 3p, and 3 times a positive 2 is a positive 6. Over here, we're distributing 5/3 to both. So 5/3 times 5 is 25/3 minus, because of 5/3 times a negative 3k. So if we multiply it, these 3's would cancel each other out. So, or you would multiply straight across and then cancel them out. So we would be left with 5. So it's 25 divided by 3 minus 5k. So 3 goes into 25 8 times, and you have 1 left over, so we can change it to a mixed number. Over here, we're going to take a negative 9 times a negative 2, and we get a positive 18. Take a negative 9 times a positive v, and you get a negative 9v. Let's look at some of these. Write an expression to find the perimeter of the figure. So we have an arrow here, and we have some side lengths given, but some of them we don't. So this side length is the same as this side length. And this side length is the same as this side length. So we have two groups of the 2x plus 4. We have two groups of the x. We have two groups of the 3x minus 2. And then we only have one of the 4. So let's simplify it. We have 4x here plus 8. Plus 2 times x, which is 2x, plus 2 times 3x, which is 6x, minus 4, and then we add on our final 4. So let's find all of our like terms. The 4x goes with the 2x and the 6x, so we have 12x. The positive 8 goes with the negative 4 and the positive 4, but these two cancel each other out, so we're just left with plus 8. You try this one, and I'll be back in just a second to show you what I did. Okay, so here's how you start it. You know that this one, and the bottom one are all the same. So you have 3 times 3v plus 5, and you're adding to that 2 of these negative 2v plus 15s. So let's distribute. 3v's is 9v. Plus 3 times 5 is 15. 2 times a negative 2 is a negative 4v, and 2 times 15 is 30. I put this in parentheses because you're not supposed to have two signs next to each other. This is a positive, so we're adding it, but really you're adding a negative, so that's neither here nor there. It's still a negative 4v. So now let's combine our like terms. We know we're going to have 5v left, and 15 plus 30 is 45. Okay, so let's try these. Combine the like terms by adding the coefficients. If you need to distribute, do that first. So in this one, we're going to take this negative 6x and take the 3x away from it, so we're left with negative 3x plus 2. On this one, this is a not, so it becomes a positive 3y, so I have 8y minus 2y, which gives us 6y. On this one, I'm going to add the 1/4 n with the 3/8 n. But first, I've got to make sure that I have the same denominators. So I have to cut this 1/4 into eighths, and so I get 2/8. So now I have 5/8 n minus 5. Over here, I've got to distribute the 7 to both of these. So 7 times 6/10 is 4.2, or 4 and 2/10, and 7 times 2 is 14, but it's a negative, so remember to distribute the negative to both. So I have a positive 8/10 minus 4 and 2/10 are, so I get 3, or a negative 3 and 4/10 are minus 14. Okay, you try these, and I'll be back in just a second to show you what I did. Okay, so in this first one, you're distributing the 9/10, so you get 9/10 W, and that's going to be minus 1 8/100. Over here, we're going to simplify. You're dividing this one and this one by 10. So you can think of them separate if you need to. So this is 7/10 x minus 1/2. Over here, we're distributing the 8, so you get 8d plus 8 times 4, which is 32, and you're taking away the 3d, so you're left with 5d plus 32. On this one, you're multiplying, you get 27g minus 45, and you're adding 6, but taking away 4g, so you get 23g, and that's minus 39. And that's all I have for you. See you next time.